Here is the plaster of Paris that I'm using. Now this is Anita's plaster of Paris for hobbies, crafts, or a bit of DIY. Now I've not used this stuff before. 2 parts water, 1 part powder. Cut. I'm not going to weigh things out. I normally just use volume like I did with the silicone. So I've got a plastic cup, and if I just put it in front of me, you can roughly see I've drawn on there 3 lines, and those lines are measurements. So the mix is 2 parts water to 1 part powder. So I'll fill the first line to powder, and then to the very third line, or the top line, to water. And that's my ratio. I'm going to use a dust mask. The powder is very, very thin and fine. It can get into the air. I don't plan on making a huge mess and getting it into the air, but you never know. So here we go. Ooh. Pinch the nose. Pinch, pinch, pinch. Ow. Bit of a hard pinch. Right, 1 part powder. I'm going to measure it out using these mixing spatulas just because I don't have anything else. Now, plaster of Paris can be an irritant to your hands, so you should also wear gloves. Oops. Right, let's don the old gloves. Should have put them on first. I might use a scraper. My trusty scraper does everything. So a third into here, third powder. There we go. I'm happy with that. I am just under the line actually. I'm not happy with that. Just splodge more in. And I'm happy with that. I'm not going to put it away, I'm just going to put it out of the way because I might need some more. Now I've not measured the volume of plaster of Paris that I will need to fill this cavity. So we're just going to wing it. Now fill it with water. Well, I might just start with a paste. So just a little bit first. So I'm going to top it up now, all the way to the top. And then carry on mixing. So this is the first batch. I'm not sure how many batches I will need, but one other thing that I've forgotten to tell you is that when my camera went off, I actually carved out a little pour hole here. And that hole there is where I'll be pouring the plaster of Paris. Now the reason why I did that is because I didn't want to pour into the same hole, so didn't want to pour down the leg, for example, but then to fill up the leg, because I wanted an opportunity for air to escape. Right, time to pour. I'm going to squeeze the lid so I don't make too much of a mess. Now that is pretty cool. I'm liking that. There's no leaks, which is good. Oh, there are a few leaks actually. Oh, so look, I am actually leaking down here. Which isn't ideal. So what I've noticed is if I apply pressure there, the leak stops. So a few bits of scrap wood just to sit on top. Well, that looks quite good. That stopped the leaking, so that's good to know. One thing I didn't like were that the feet, so the build-up of plaster of Paris in the water, when the sediment comes to rest, it looked like the top of the feet were going clear because it's just water. Just quickly show you that. But if you look here, it's mainly water. Something's not going on. Something's not happening. I've done mixing so this can come off here. What I have noticed is that I've noticed nothing. I think I might clamp it again. that's all done. We need to wait now for 1 to 2 days. It's already going off, so I might just leave it 24 hours and see what happens. But I'll keep this as my little test pot, just to see how and when it goes off. Join me next time when I demold.